Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I guide my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case: the Black Monk of Pontefract. Happy Halloween, James.
Happy Halloween, Jake.
How are we doing today, my friend?
Just fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You seem bubbly and light for this. Probably the beer and the coffee.
I'm just thinking about all the costume ideas I have for this episode.
Costume ideas.
Costumes for my voice.
Okay. Oh, for your voice.
Well, that's all people hear in our audio podcast.
I understand, but costumes for your voice. So, impressions?
There is an expectation if you say the word impressions.
I understand.
I'm not going to be able to meet expectations because I'm not good at impressions.
You're not able to meet expectations because you are not good
at impressions.
Just period.
It's kind of rude. I tell you I'm in this great mood.
Yeah.
And you have to immediately knock me down a peg.
Yeah. Got to keep you humble. Keep that happy attitude you have today.
It's kind of fading by the moment, actually.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You'll be fine. Here's a little toughen up dust for you. Here's something to get your spirits back up. We have a second listener submission.
A second?
Yes, sir. This is submitted by our friends over at This Podcast is Based on True Events. Another spooky podcast that if you want to listen to more spooky stuff after this one, you can go check them out as well. I got a story for you.
Let's hear it. I'm doing the Patrick Warburton.
All right. We are going all the way back to 1966. We are at 30 East Drive, Pontefract, West Yorkshire, England. The Pritchard family has just moved into a new house. We have the father, Joe, the wife, Jean, 14-year-old son, Philip, and 12-year-old daughter, Diane. When they move into this place, it seems just like another low-income type household, nothing strange about it. And it's actually kind of convenient because a lot of the family has actually moved in other townhomes around the area, so they're all very close. One of these days, the family decided to go on vacation. But Philip didn't really want to go. So the family agreed, you can stay home, but your grandma has to come over and watch you. So they said, that's fine. The family left. And that's when strange occurrences began to happen. Philip was outside reading a book, and his grandma was inside, when all of a sudden a strange burst of wind closed all of the shutters and doors in the house simultaneously. His grandma asked him, is there a storm coming or something? That's a really strong gust of breeze. Philip said, no storm. Perfectly fine day out. There hasn't been any wind all day. Now his grandma's a little spooked, so Philip said, it's all right. Let me come inside, I'll make you some tea. Philip makes his grandma some tea, but as he's bringing it into the living room, he sees white powder begin to rain from the ceiling. At first he thinks maybe it's just a shoddy development or something, and something's just loose in the ceiling. But then he notices it's all over. It's like raining this weird powder. His grandma notices this and yells, Philip, what did you do? And stands up. When she notices, the powder isn't raining. It's appearing. Because it's all below shoulder height. Now, they don't know what to make of this, so the grandma's sister lives across the street. Her name's Marie. She lives there with her husband, Vic. So she walked across the street, and apparently when she knocked on the door, according to Marie, when they opened the front door, it looked like Philip and the grandma, whose name was Sarah, is like covered in snow. She said, quote, she looked like a snowman. So they asked, hey, there's something weird in this house. Can you come and check and see if there's anything off with it? Maria agreed, no problem. So she's walking across the street to go check out what could be causing all this strange occurrences so quickly. As soon as she steps inside the house, Marie slips and nearly breaks her neck. When she looks straight down, she sees a big puddle on the floor. It wasn't there when they left at first. So she begins cleaning up the puddle. When she's done cleaning up that puddle, she turns around. Another puddle appears, perfectly circular. So she cleans that one up. When she's done that, she turns around. Again, another perfectly circular puddle. She looks up. Nothing is leaking down from the ceiling. It's also linoleum floors. So they've got the grout and stuff like that in them. They're not a flat surface. So none of the water is actually running in the grout. It's just making a perfectly circular patch of water. It makes no sense. So she thinks, there's no drip. Maybe there's a broken pipe under the floor. So she calls a city worker. And in the meantime, while he's coming over, she peels back a corner of the linoleum floor to find that the hardwood underneath is bone dry. There is no leak or anything coming from under there. But still, maybe the city worker knows something that she doesn't. He eventually gets to the house, and he couldn't find any explanation for the puddles. And eventually, they just stopped forming. So he left. Everything got quiet for a few hours after that. But at 7 p.m. that night, Philip sees the tea dispenser going off and on, continually dispensing whatever water is inside it. It's also dispensing all the sugar that's out beside it as well. And they are watching as the buttons are getting pushed and everything's starting to flow out. Even after it's completely empty, the buttons are still getting pressed. Both the grandma and Philip are noticing this. By the end of this, the grandma yells, "Oh, stop it!" And then they hear a smash from the hallway. They run to the hallway and find the light in the hallway has turned on by itself. And a potted plant that was at the bottom of the stairs is now at the very top of the stairs. And the plant has been torn out and all of the dirt poured halfway down the stairs. Here's the weirdest thing about that. That bulb was dead, and it turned on by itself. After this, they then hear a loud crash from the kitchen. As they run to the kitchen, they see the whole cabinet vibrating, shaking the cups and plates inside of it. Philip walked up and shut the cabinet, and it immediately stopped. Then they hear a crash upstairs. The temperature then drops drastically to freezing cold all throughout the house. This is all within a matter of minutes. They get Marie. They're like, there's something wrong with the house. We don't know what's happening. We need help. So Marie rushes over. And when she gets there, she sees all of the cabinets violently shaking like they did before. And the thing is that they thought maybe it was the neighbor doing some sort of construction and that they didn't let them know about. But this was not on the shared wall of the house. This was on the other side. But still, they needed to check. So they go to their next door neighbor to see if she's doing anything that could cause all of this. When she saw them, she simply said, "We thought it was you." Philip and his grandmother had enough and decided to stay at Marie's. And Marie was kind enough to invite them over because you can't stay in this house tonight. We don't know what's going on. As they're grabbing their stuff, Philip hears a bang from behind him. As he turns around, his dresser is walking towards him, quote, like a drunk person. It was apparently teetering back and forth towards him. That was absolutely enough, and they got out of the house. When they got to Marie's, her husband came home. Marie tells Vic this whole story. They're like, "We don't know what it is. We don't know what's causing that." Vic's response was, "Why haven't you called the cops? There could be someone in the house breaking it from the inside, and no one's called the police if this thing has been going on for as long as you have been." So he's like, "Call the cops." So he calls the cops. A detective and 2 police officers show up in front of the house, and Vic and Marie meet them out front. When they go inside, they search the house, top to bottom. Every crawl space, every nook and cranny, everything. And they couldn't find a single thing. No one was there, and nothing strange happened. Maybe it's just a one-night weird thing that happened, we don't know. But little did they know, this was only the beginning. For over the next 9 months, the Pritchard family would be terrorized by one of the most violent hauntings in Britain's history. James, have you heard of the Black Monk of Pontefract?
I haven't even heard of Pontefract, if I'm being honest.
I'm not very...
I haven't even heard of Pontefract, if I'm being honest.
I might kill
It's
myself.
all new to me. It's a new one.
Okay.
Wait, you're not down with the voice? It's my costume. You gotta get used to it.
I don't think
Peter.
I don't think I'm going to.
What?
This is going to be the record for fastest shutoffs in an episode.
Fine, I'll stop. Something you order? Pizza?
I know at first, this is a lot to tell you right off the bat.
That might be our longest intro story.
It might be. But the thing is, a lot goes down in this story, and it only ramps up from here. I actually have a picture of the house for you. This is a picture of 30 East Drive in Pontefract.
A beautiful brick duplex.
The thing is this is one of the most violent hauntings in Britain's history, but it's one of the least publicized hauntings. And that's what gives it a bit of credence, because this family didn't actually reach out to anyone, any sort of press, any sort of book outlets, movies, nothing. They kept it extremely private. This actually didn't get any attention until the 1980s, when a man named Colin Wilson was writing a book. The book was called Poltergeist, a classic study in destructive hauntings. And he was going around asking people about famous hauntings in Britain, known paranormal stuff, kind of like the Enfield Horror and stuff like that. And that's where through the grapevine they said, "Did you hear what happened in Pontefract?" And he had no idea. No one really knew. And they said, "You should go to Pontefract and ask around." Colin went to Pontefract, found the Pritchard family. At first they didn't really want to talk about it. They didn't know how he heard about it because it was kept pretty local. But they eventually convinced them that he's a reporter, he's doing work for destructive hauntings, he wants to hear about their story. And this is where we get all the information from this haunting. So a little bit of credence here that the family did not actually go out for anything.
Yeah.
So this is where we start the rest of our story. That night, Marie and Vic go home, but they can't sleep. Vic believes his wife's story, but it's just so out there that he doesn't know how to comprehend this. This is beyond anything a person should know about.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, you're hard at work all day long and you come home and you're met with that.
Yeah.
How do you react?
Understandable, honestly. Well, at around midnight, Vic remembers. Marie has a friend. He's actually a ghost investigator. He lives just up the street.
What are the chances?
Here's the thing. He didn't think about it until right now. He's like, wait, we know a guy. Now, we say ghost investigator. This guy was kind of like me, where he's just really, really into all the stuff. You know, where someone's like, I know a guy. This is that guy.
My first thought was like the Pawn Stars, where they just know a guy for everything.
That's kind of what it is.
My wife's sister's place across the street's being haunted. Good thing I have a friend down the road who's an expert in ghosts.
Let me call a friend. He's an expert in this sort of thing, and we'll get a price of what kind of haunting this is.
Yeah.
Well, they go to this guy's house. His name's Mr. O'Donnell. It's midnight, and his house is the only house that's on the block. So they knock on his door. Now he opens the door, and they say this is going to be crazy, but they tell him the whole situation of what happened that day at 30 East Drive. He listens and simply replies, "I'll get my coat." So they leave and they go back to 30 East Drive. And when they go inside, nothing's really happening. But the thing is that as nothing's happening, he starts thinking to himself and looking at the area. And he has an idea of what this could be. He looks to them and says, "I believe that this is a poltergeist." James, do you know what a poltergeist is?
Is it like a ghost?
It is like a ghost.
But meaner.
Not necessarily.
I'm just guessing at this point. I don't know.
It's kind of like the difference between hot tubs and jacuzzis.
So a poltergeist is a brand of ghost?
Kind of. Not all ghosts are poltergeists, but all poltergeists are ghosts. The main difference is typically a ghost will haunt a location. Poltergeists haunt a person and thrive off their energy. Most of the time, younger people. Usually in their teens, they like to harness that energy and the energy of change, and they use that for them. Poltergeists are also known to being trickster spirits. Have you ever seen the movie Poltergeist?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, the movie Poltergeist is not far off from what people actually experience with poltergeist hauntings. Poltergeists are some of the most active hauntings anyone can experience. They are more obscure than anything you will ever hear about. And some people believe that poltergeist hauntings are less ghost and more just an entity that we can't comprehend. So they start asking around, same thing everyone's kind of asking, what's a poltergeist? He's discussing it. And he goes to leave. As he's leaving, he says, they usually do funny things, like break things or slash paintings. As soon as he says that, they hear a crash. They go to investigate what the sound is, and they find 3 paintings smashed on the floor, one of which is Joe and Jean's wedding photo ripped in half. This was at 1:45 in the morning, and now you can kind of see poltergeists respond. It's almost like they're just an omniscient view of everything in the area, and they will react with personality like that. So he would just say it, and then bam, it happened.
This almost makes it like we just said that like the poltergeist haunts people.
Yes.
Is it like a one person at a time thing, or like whoever's around? Because right now it sounds like it's just in the house, like a regular ghost, I guess.
Yes, it's in the house. But here's the thing. Philip was 14 at the time.
Yes.
He was just starting to go through puberty. And poltergeists like young people, especially ones going through changes. He's harnessing that energy of a boy going through a change. And that boy, remember, he didn't want to go on vacation with his family, getting angsty, want to stay home. That negative energy attracted the poltergeist, and he is feeding off that. I know it sounds insane, but poltergeists can follow people. They don't necessarily stay in one place. There have been people who have moved houses and uprooted their lives because of a poltergeist haunting, and the haunting continues in the different home. Because it doesn't follow the house, it follows the person that's feeding them. That's a big difference. And poltergeists do a lot more things than ghosts do. And here's more examples of that. The next day, the rest of the family came home to Marie, Grandma, and Philip outside of 30 East Drive. As soon as they get out of their car, they begin talking about the strange experience inside the house. You don't want to go in there. Look at all the things we saw. We saw the cabinet shaking. We saw puddles forming, strange powder forming. We don't know what's going on in there. Well, they walk inside the house anyway. They're like, I don't know what you guys are thinking. I think you're just hearing things. They said, well, we also heard strange knocking around the walls as this was happening. And Joe says, what kind of knocks? And right after he says this, he hears 3 loud bangs. The windows all then rattled, and the chill went right through the whole house. And that was it.
Perfect. Problem solved itself.
Nothing happened for 2 more years.
Excellent. You know, I have to say, that's got to be a very well-built house. And do you want to know why?
Why?
Those perfectly circular puddles forming, It's got to be a very level floor for it to not just go off in any one direction.
And also not go into the grout of any of the linoleum or anything like that.
Yeah. Incredible, really.
Yeah, it's literally breaking physics. It's insane how level that floor is.
Perfectly level.
Well, nothing happened again until 2 years later. Now, Philip is 16 and Diane is 14. And Jean has an idea. She wants to remodel Diane's room. Ghosts don't like it when you remodel or renovate anything. They like things the way they are. Activity usually turns up when something like this happens.
Right. Well, thankfully it's not haunting the house, I guess.
Well, as soon as she starts thinking about this, weird things start happening. As soon as it's in her mind. After this, the bedspread in Diane's room began getting torn off and thrown down the stairs. Actually, it would happen to all of their beds. Sometimes, while they were sleeping, they would wake up and no sheets would be underneath them. It would all be thrown down the stairs and piled up. Jean would go down, remake all of the beds, and when she'd do that, she'd hear another bang or another rummaging sound and find all the other beds she made were, again, completely torn off and thrown down the stairs. Now, to give you a little bit of idea of what Jean's like, she's a clean freak. She hates mess, and she keeps everything tip-top. So this was annoying the hell out of her. So one day, when Jean is going down to get these bed sheets again from all being thrown off and thrown down the stairs, they hear a loud crash from upstairs. The family goes upstairs to find all of the plants in the upstairs second level ripped and upended from the pots, and every pot smashed simultaneously. This is all happening pretty consistently, and they're just kind of trying to learn to live with it.
And is this just like a couple days in at this point?
This is like, as she thought about renovating Diane's room, all of this started happening within about a week.
Yeah, okay.
And this was like daily occurrences. After all this, later that night, she's still working on redoing Diane's room, and she was going upstairs to go measure some things out for whatever needed to be done. As she's walking up the stairs and turns into Diane's room, she felt a cold chill rush past her, followed by something whipping past her face within an inch. When she looks, it was a paintbrush, floating beside her head. The paintbrush began swiping back and forth, like trying to paint her face. And she's backing up, trying to get away from this paintbrush that keeps going back and forth, back and forth. When she ducks the paintbrush, she then looks up to see a bucket flying out of Diane's room towards her head, just past her head, smashing against the wall. This bucket was full of wallpaper paste, and it splattered all over the upper floor of the house. So Jean's losing her mind already at the ghost attacking her, and now there's another mess. As she looks up after the bucket hits the wall, she notices something in the darkness, coiled like a snake. It's strips of wallpaper bouncing like this in the middle of the room. She walks close to it and grabs it, and as soon as she does, the wallpaper goes limp. But then she hears something behind her. As she looks behind her, a carpet sweeper is in the middle of the air floating and begins swinging around like a baseball bat trying to hit her in the head. So she falls over, crawls out of the room, and starts screaming. This caused the whole family to wake up, and they see the carpet sweeper. They see all these things getting thrown out of the room. They see the splatter on the wall. They're watching this happen. As they turn the corner, a whole roll of wallpaper is thrown and hits the door as she's crawling out. Some of the objects that are flying out started out flying out and then turning towards the family down the hall, one of which hit Diane, but Diane didn't feel any pain. It's almost like nothing hit her. Immediately after this, Philip saw the wood palement ripped from the windowsill and thrown out the window of Diane's room. Joe ran up, slammed the door to Diane's room, and when Diane went to go reach for the doorknob, because several bangs were heard from inside the room like something was trying to get out, Joe said, "Don't," followed by a loud bang throughout the entire room. And then everything calmed down. Things like this happened for the next 9 months.
9 months? Are you kidding me?
No.
I'd have gotten out of there on like day 2.
That's the weird thing. Poltergeists are strange. Like the way they react to a family. I find that people with ghosts and haunted places, they're out of there. Move houses. With poltergeists, they almost make it a part of their family. It's very strange, but it's happened on more than one occasion.
I think it's like that parasite that cats give to rats that make the rats like the cats. Toxoplasmosis or whatever.
Yes, kind of. But I also think that when ghosts haunt a place, it seems more robotic. It seems more just weird things are happening. It doesn't seem to be reacting to anyone around them. Poltergeists have a real personality to them, and it feels like you're talking to something that can understand you. It's a little different.
Still, 9 months is crazy.
It is, but I know there's reports of poltergeists going on for years, and people just stay with it. It's weird.
Like, I feel like they'd run out of stuff to break in like the first week.
We'll get into why they don't. So most of the activity was happening around bedtime, evening, or at night. This included levitating objects, banging, knocking, lights going out. But the thing is that with the lights going out, it wasn't just lights being shut off. They found out that the power was being cut at the main switch. They had a small cabinet underneath the stairs, and in behind a lot of the stuff at the back of the cabinet was the main switch to the power. And they would find that switch shut off by itself. So they would turn it back on. This happened so much that they taped it, duct taped it up in the up position so it wouldn't happen again. And then it would shut off again. And when they would go check on it, the tape wouldn't be ripped down with it. The tape would be gone, disappeared. There's nothing on the ground, nothing in the walls. It just evaporated out of reality. So that's another thing poltergeist can do.
Blink things out of reality?
Yeah, and blink things back in.
That is pretty trickstery.
It is. You probably think this is all nuts at the moment.
Oh, no, this is perfectly sane and logical.
At this point, it's too much. So they thought, I know what we can do. Let's exorcise the house.
Of course.
So they called the church, and the church refused. And they said, what do you mean? Well, the vicar, Reverend Davy, said, poltergeists can't be exorcised. You'll just piss it off. Well, they said, can you please come and just check the house anyway? And he said, you know what? Sure. So Reverend Davy showed up. And when he showed up, nothing happened. He stayed for a few hours. Nothing went on. So Jean said, sorry you came here for nothing. And then there was a loud bang upstairs, followed by a candlestick falling off of the mantle onto the floor. The vicar quickly said, the house is settling. Don't say that, because just after that, a second candlestick fell off the mantle, but it didn't fall to the ground. It floated right up to Reverend Davy's face under his nose, stayed there for a moment, and then dropped to the floor. They then heard a crash in the next room. They go to the next room, and the china cabinet has been shaken and tipped over, and everything has been fallen onto the floor. But none of the china is broken. Cups aren't broken, plates aren't broken, bowls aren't broken. It's all still intact all over the floor.
Now that's incredible.
It is.
Almost like a bit of a miracle.
A little bit.
Thank you, Reverend.
Well, after this, Jean looked at him sarcastically and said, so the house is settling? Reverend Davy said, this house is evil and is harboring some sort of dark entity. And he left. He was leaving out the front door. And they said, wait, what do we do? And as he was getting in his car, Reverend Davy said, move, and left.
Fucking leave. Like, come on, it's been 9 months.
This is only the beginning. This is just like a month in.
Oh, sorry.
This is not 9 months. This is.
Gotcha.
I'm going to tell you the whole thing.
Yeah. It's been a month. Leave.
Yeah.
The next door neighbors, the next wall neighbors, whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
Anything happening in there, or are they just overhearing it?
Yeah. They've corroborated all of this, hearing all of this.
But not happening to them.
Not yet. That night, this entity ramped it up even more. Diane was walking up the stairs to go to bed when all of the lights shut off simultaneously in the house. This has become this entity's MO. Now, there was a faint street light outside that gave a slight glow. She saw a shadow form on the wall, followed by a heavy oak bookshelf with a sewing machine on top of it float up in the air and land on top of her. Diane screams. This bookshelf is on top of her, pinning her to the stairs. Her brother and her mom run to the bookshelf and they're trying to pull it off, but it's not even budging. It's like something is holding it down on the stairs. They can't even get it up an inch. They're trying to pull. Nothing's happening. And then Jean says, Diane, just relax. And when she calms herself, they could lift the shelf no problem. It actually appeared lighter than what was initially estimated the weight to be. It's almost as if once that energy was gone, the negative energy or panic had nothing to feed off of anymore. And then it almost acted as if it helped the bookshelf off of Diane. And here's that weird part again. Diane wasn't hurt. No broken bones. No bruises. Nothing. This should have caused some injury. But nothing. That's another thing that you'll hear from poltergeists, is they'll do a lot of this stuff as trickery, as fear, to get the energy, but they won't hurt the people. Yet.
How foreboding.
After this, the lights come back on. Jean picks up Diane. It's like, it's time to go to bed. Let's go to bed. I don't know why you'd want to go to bed after this. Takes her up to her room. And as they go into her room, the lights shut off again. All of the blankets and sheets get thrown off the bed, and her mattress flies over the room and pins her to the ground. Diane is now pinned under her mattress that flew across the room. Eventually, the same thing happened. They got her to calm down, they got it off, and that was it. This became so commonplace in their house that they gave the entity a name. Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody.
That way, if anyone asked, what was that? They could say it was nobody.
I guess that's one way to deal with the problem.
Jean had another name for it. She also named it Fred. The more serious name is Mr. Nobody.
Jean's been taking too much lithium.
Here's the thing, is this is also a common thing with poltergeists. People will name them. Like the Bell Witch. Or there was another haunting in California where they named it Mr. Entity. Things like that. People do name these poltergeists. It's very strange. People actually started talking about this around town because everyone in the local area is hearing these sounds from the house. This isn't just condensed in this one duplex. The neighbors are hearing it. The neighbors across the street are seeing it. Like, everyone in this neighborhood know that this is happening.
Have the police been back? Has anyone else called the police for them?
Yeah, no, police are coming and seeing it. But the thing is that this becomes less of an issue and more of an attraction. Only locally. People start coming to the house asking if they can experience Mr. Nobody. Police are coming just to see what happens. Neighbors are coming because they hear about it, or they hear through the grapevine. It's all word of mouth. And people are experiencing stuff all over the town when they go to this place. They're seeing the things floating. They're hearing all the sounds. All of it. People are seeing it and hearing it.
Other people are seeing this stuff.
Including the mayor of Pontefract.
The mayor of Pontefract?
Yes! He asked to come to the house and he experienced Mr. Nobody as well. This is crazy. And the thing is that
it is crazy.
It is. But it's all word of mouth.
Yeah.
And everyone in the town's experiencing it. But no one's going to the press or anything because, one, they'll think everyone's crazy in the town. Two, they think it's kind of fun that they have their own little haunting in their own little town. So no one's saying anything.
What a crazy thing to think.
Right?
This is fun. We have a family that's just haunted and they won't leave.
That's the weird part. This is a thing that happens in poltergeists. Like, the family just sticks with it. It's really weird.
It's weird.
And it's not like they're going for money or anything. They're not charging people to come to the house. People are just like, can I come see Mr. Nobody? And they're like, yeah, come experience it. Or like, people will be like, I'm skeptical. And they'll come and they'll see it. And they're like, holy shit, I just saw a lamp float across the room. Like, things like that.
But it's not actually hurting anybody yet. And it's not really breaking too much stuff.
It's breaking a lot of stuff, but they're just going with it. I don't know.
Oh. So it's not okay. So it's not all the stuff is saved.
No. They're breaking a lot of pots, and a lot of things are getting thrown off stairs and stuff. It's only choosing to save some things. It's weird.
The fine china.
The fine china.
Shit's expensive. Don't break that.
But all of the pots, all getting smashed.
Right.
Fuck them.
How ridiculous. Go on.
I know you're gonna. This is a lot. I know.
Who was the mayor of Pontefract in 1968?
I don't know.
I'll find out for us really quick.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay, it's a pretty small town. Even amongst all the locals, even though this is a very popular story, there's still some that are highly, highly, highly skeptical who think it's just the kids playing pranks on the parents. One of these people is their very own aunt, Aunt Maud. Aunt Maud is a bitch to the highest caliber, and I'll show you why. This is Joe's sister, the father's sister. She came to visit one evening because she was skeptical about the poltergeist, and she didn't like stories were being reported and spread around town, but absolutely no logical explanations were being given. She wanted to prove, once and for all, that it was just the kids. Now, Joe was annoyed because Joe was like, no, it's not our kids because we can watch them and this stuff's happening while they're beside us, and you have no idea what you're about to get into with this. She's like, no, I know it's just the kids and I'm going to prove it tonight. And Joe's like, okay, come inside. So she came inside and sat down in the lounge, or like the living room. They sat there for a few hours. Nothing was happening. And she's like, I know, because the kids are here, and they're just waiting for me not to look. Then the room became cold, and the lights went out. But there was a faint glow from the fireplace they had in that room, enough that they could see Aunt Maud. They then saw a light from the kitchen. It was the fridge. The fridge had swung open, and the whole family witnessed a jug of milk slowly float over the top of Aunt Maud, and then dump the whole container on top of her hair. She immediately jumped to her feet, started screaming and yelling, and the lights came on. She's right as she jumped up, so almost like they had a show. The timing was perfect. And she immediately started screaming, "It was those kids! I know it was those kids!" The parents said, well, it can't be their kids, because they are right here beside us and they didn't move. This is when...
Really convenient with the light off, I have to say.
There's the thing, is that you can see the glow of the milk floating by itself while the kids are right here. This is all happening within an instant. And the lights have become an MO with this entity. And it's all being cut from them in the cabinet below the stairs. They have to go back in and manually turn it back on, unless he turns it on himself. And if they're all right there, no one can shut off the switch, because the only switch is underneath the stairs. Some tell the story different at this part, very minutely. And it's less because of the actual story and more because of the people. According to some, Jean said, you can stay the night and see for yourself that it wasn't them. Others say Aunt Maud invited herself to stay the night so she can prove that it was them. So, pick which one you want. As Aunt Maud removes her coat and her hat, she notices that she can't find one of her gloves. It's completely disappeared. Jean told her, it'll turn up. They always do. So they went back into the lounge, where the lights shut off again. There was a loud bang, followed by Maud screaming. When the lights came back on, all of the chairs in the lounge had been flipped simultaneously upside down. Now this is too much. Aunt Maud's like, it was the kids, the lights were off, I know it was the kids. Well, it wasn't them. We know it's not them. They just flipped like big lounge chairs over. This wasn't the kids. They couldn't do that all simultaneously. She's like, no, I know it's them. I'm going to stay the night. I said, okay. So later that night, they're all getting ready for bed. Joe is going to stay down in the living room, while Diane, Maud, and Jean stay in one of the upstairs rooms. Maud went to go turn off the lights on the bedside lamp, when the lamp picked off the nightstand and floated into the middle of the room. Now the lights are on for this. At the same time, the electric fireplace they had, Joe witnessed all 4 light bulbs unscrew and float up the stairs towards the lamp. These light bulbs went into the room, and all 3 women witnessed as all of the lights circled the floating lamp in the middle of the room. Now, Maud's losing her mind. She goes downstairs. She's freaking out. As she goes downstairs, she sees something floating. Her missing glove. Both of her gloves are floating in the midair. Apparently, these gloves were really wide apart, so what this is, either it has a huge arm span, like it's like 6 feet wide, or it's just 2 separate floating hands. She said, "Get away, you're evil," as the fridge door flies open and all of their food flies out all over the floor. She picked up one of her boots and threw it at the door. When she did, the gloves disappeared.
Poof, gone.
She gave it the old Bush treatment. This is when Jean replied, "Do you still think it's the kids?" The gloves then reappeared, floating into the bedroom. Maud began singing "Onward Christian Soldiers." Maud was heavily religious. And as she started singing, the gloves began conducting her song. She saw this, stopped singing, turned to Jean and said, quote, "You have the devil in this house." They didn't sleep much that night.
The gloves just go like,
That's what I'm talking about. Poltergeists have personality. It's very funny and very strange.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem shy by any means if it's performing for any and everyone that comes into the house.
It is, 100%. Maud left early the next morning, saying she wouldn't stay in this house again for 20,000 pounds. The gloves, nowhere to be found. But later, Jean did find the gloves. You know where she found them?
In the toilet?
Nope. In the cabinet by the main switch.
Oh.
No one goes in there. So she found the gloves, and she brought them back to Maud. Maud grabbed them with tongs, took them to the backyard, and burned them. She wanted nothing to do with this house, and she never came back to it, as far as I know.
Fair. That's fair. Honestly, I'd probably burn them too and leave.
Now, everyone who listens to this show knows that you don't like ghosts.
It's not that I don't like them, it's that I don't really think they're real.
What do you think about this so far? Because this is a very extreme haunting.
It is a very extreme haunting. It's very in your face. It's very obvious. It's for anyone and everyone who wants to see it. Has anyone taken like a flash powder photography photo of anything floating?
Not right now. This is the weird part, is no one's taking photos.
Mhm.
No one's gotten any video. It is 1968 in England. Maybe cameras are less available. It is a poor part of town as well. This is like a very low income housing. But the thing is that everyone's experiencing this, so much so that I don't think they have a need to prove it. Here's what I mean by that.
Prove it to who?
Yeah, everyone's experienced it. So why
Yeah.
would we have to take a picture to prove it? We're not going to the press. We're not talking about it. There's no internet to talk about it. We don't want anyone to hear about it. It's just a nice little fun haunting that we have in our hometown.
Is there like a police report?
I don't know, but there are police that are there. And the thing is that this isn't just the family talking about it. This is the next door neighbors, neighbors across the street, the mayor, other policemen that have been there, the other reverends who have been there to see the house. All these people have experienced it. Aunt Maud, these are all real people that experienced it. And Colin Wilson, the man who shed light on this case, it didn't get into the zeitgeist until 15 years later when he wrote the book. Otherwise, this would have never been heard of.
Was he a British lad himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in the area talking about hauntings and stuff. So, because England has a lot of history, so there's a lot of potentially haunted places.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
Yeah, but he was specifically looking at poltergeists because I believe the Enfield haunting was in the news because it just happened a few years prior. And that's what they got people interested. So he thought, hey, maybe I should write a book about other things that have happened like this. Jean calls her friend over, Renee Holden. She's not only a good friend of Jean, she's also a psychic. There's James laughing.
Man, these people know a lot of people.
Hey, you know what? Once you start getting to know people, you'll find that people are into a lot of weird stuff.
Go figure.
Let's take me for example, okay?
Okay.
This guy Jake, he runs an excavator at a scrapyard, but also he's really into paranormal shit and cryptid shit. And if you want to know something, he's your guy. Kind of like that. People have a lot of hobbies outside of this.
Right.
And realistically, I've only shown you 2 people with paranormal hobbies so far, and that's a psychic and a ghost investigator from up the street. In the whole town of Pontefract, only 2 people so far. So it seems like a lot, but it's more like a lot in a bubble.
Right.
So Renee comes over. As soon as she enters the home, she says she senses something evil about the house. There's something dark here, but they don't know what yet.
I'm already rolling my eyes.
I know.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because Renee's obviously heard about this. She obviously knows about this place already.
I
and
understand.
She's just doing the classic, ooh, let me tell you what you already know.
I understand. Here's the part that people haven't really realized yet. Renee claims that there's a strange darkness that's linked to Diane. Not many people have linked this ghost to Diane yet. It's just been a haunting in a house. And Diane has been the one that's been the brunt of a lot of the violent attacks. She's the one that kind of felt that connection. I'm weird on psychics. I do believe that humans can have psychic abilities. I do. However, people who charge for them, I'm always skeptical of. There's a lot of people who are fake psychics. That is completely true. The thing about Renee is she's not charging. She's not, as far as I know, she's not like a psychic as an occupation. She has a psychic ability, but she doesn't use it for her advantage. Does that make sense?
How noble.
Well, she's coming to this house because she's a psychic to help her friend out. She's not charging anything, and she hasn't charged anyone for being a psychic. She just claims that she has this ability to connect with the other side. And I've known people who have that ability too, where they feel like there's a connection to the other side. I'm already losing James. He is laughing so hard right now. He is trying not to burst into this fucking microphone. I understand. You're losing your shit now.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm not going to say anything. Keep going.
I know you don't like psychic stuff. You don't like ghost stuff, so me saying psychic stuff makes it worse.
Well, I think some psychic stuff is fun, like remote viewing, and there's probably other stuff that's fun too.
Yeah.
And then I think of like the person with the silly hat and the crystal ball, and be like, that's a scammer
Okay. It's not
or
like
just
that.
a lunatic.
It's not like that. Here's what I mean. Remember back at our very first episode, we talked about hypnotism?
Yeah.
And I said hypnotism is actually a thing that people do use medically, but it's not the way you think with the watch in front of the eyes and, sleep now with this word when I snap my fingers. That's all Hollywood TV show. Same idea with psychics. The crystal ball and the thing over the head and all that stuff, that's Hollywood. Those people are doing it for show. There are some people who have a strange connection with the other side and can sense things weird like that. Some people are just not full psychics, but at least sensitive to that sort of thing.
Cool. I wish I was.
I wish I was too. I don't know if I was.
I would love to be able to remote view Mars.
You wait till we get to remote viewing. You're going to fucking lose your shit.
I'm going to learn how to do it for that episode. Is there like a YouTube tutorial I could watch?
Actually, yeah. I think there is YouTube tutorials on how to. There's a YouTube tutorial for how to turn yourself into a monkey if you want to shapeshift. I found there is that. Might have to do both of those.
I have to make sure I figure out which one to do first in case I can't turn back.
Remote view, then monkey.
Yeah, and find a banana with the remote viewing.
That's why you got to remote view first. The monkey side will cloud your brain. You'll look for the wrong things. You'll remote view.
You should be looking for the Ark of the Covenant in the jungle.
You remote view JFK assassination, but just throw shit at his head. Ooh. Anyway.
So yeah, sidekicks, they're cool.
Don't let that weigh down the rest of this. I got a lot more for you. It only gets weirder, so just hold on.
I can't wait.
Oh, Patrick Warburton's back. Fuck. So they're in the lounge, discussing the events that have happened throughout the house. When, you guessed it, the lights go out. They hear a big crash and scramble around trying to find a flashlight or whatever's making it. Jean makes her way through the darkness and gets to the cabinet under the stairs and turns the power back on. When she does, all the food that they had brought into the room that they were snacking on while they were talking is thrown all over the room. So they begin cleaning. As they're cleaning, they find a sandwich behind the TV with a cartoonish bite mark out of the corner of it. Poltergeists are weird. They do shit like this. They clean everything up, and they continue the evening. When all of a sudden, an egg floats into the room, and then gets thrown down to the floor and breaks with immense speed. When the egg breaks, it smells like fresh flowers, and then a second egg floats into the room. Same thing. Thrown to the ground, smells like fresh flowers. Jean's like, you're not smashing all my eggs. She goes to the fridge, pulls the eggs out of the fridge, and puts them in a farmer's box she has on the floor. She puts them in the box, closes the lid, and sits on top of it. She then says, you're not breaking any more of my eggs. As she turns around after sitting on the box, an egg appears in front of her face, floats into the living room, and smashes. One by one, more eggs appear in front of her face and smash in the living room. She is in absolute shock, and when it stops, she turns around and opens up the farmer's box to see that every single egg is gone. No way to get through that. She was sitting on the box the whole time. Something was manifesting those eggs out of that box, appearing in front of her face, and then smashing them.
You know, this poltergeist, Mr. No Body, kind of sounds hilarious.
That's the thing. Poltergeists are fucking funny. They do funny shit like this all the time.
I feel like this is getting into territory of stuff I would do if I were a poltergeist.
That's exactly it. Poltergeists have like a really human personality,
Yeah.
and their tricks may seem extreme, but to them, they're an all-knowing being. This is just fun for them, right? There's actually another report of poltergeists where they were on a vacation, and when they were on vacation, it was during Christmas time, they were like, oh man, I wish we had a Christmas tree. And they went to bed, and when they woke up, a pine tree with dirt and everything was all over their room, just sat in the middle of this hotel room that they had to get room service to clean this tree out after they said they wish they had a Christmas tree. And when they looked out, there was a pine tree ripped from the roots from the front of the hotel.
I don't think customer service is going to believe that story. Yeah,
Probably
you're
not.
paying for that one, buddy.
Yeah, probably not. But still, things like this happen with poltergeists. They're very like fun with this, right? They play tricks on you and they test your sanity. And the funniest part about this one is all the mess that this thing is making. Because it knows Jean's a clean freak. So it keeps making a mess for fun to see what she would do, like smashing food and stuff like that. After this, Renee's like, this is a very active spirit. So she says, Spirit, if you are here, give us a sign. Don't ask that. Fred then threw every single piece of furniture from the top floor down the stairs. There's your sign. The next morning they woke up and they grabbed the doorknob. And something sticky is on the doorknob. They open up the door of their bedroom. Something had covered every doorknob on the top floor with peanut butter and jam and stuck toilet paper on it. When they looked down the stairs, a strange mixture of marmalade and mustard was spread about at the base of the stairs. Now I think they're just apathetic and tired of this. This is only 3 months in.
I've got a quick question about all that stuff getting thrown down the stairs.
Yes.
You said it was thrown down the stairs and smashed.
Yes.
But then they brought it back up the stairs. So it wasn't actually smashed?
When I said smash, I meant more like the sound of it.
Right.
I shouldn't have said smashed. That's my bad. But again,
just wanted to clarify for
yes,
the sake of them being not the wealthiest people and having to buy new furniture all the time.
Yeah, no, that's my mistake. But the thing is that, again, stuff's being thrown from the top floor and not breaking.
Yeah.
And then just carry it back up. It's like choosing when it wants to break things.
Yeah, it's making the situation like not so bad that these people are like desperate, but just bad enough where I guess they tolerate it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's not actually breaking that much stuff. It hit me with a bookshelf, but it didn't actually hurt that bad.
Yeah, it just pinned you down. It didn't actually feel the pain of it. That's the thing, is that the pain's not happening. As far as this is going, it's crazy to deal with. But nothing too malicious has happened yet.
Yeah. So they got the mustard and the marmalade. They're getting tired of it now?
Yeah, and you know what? As long as you don't piss them off, I'm pretty sure everything will be fine.
I'm sure things will never escalate.
Not at all.
Maybe they'll just get bored and leave.
Well, they got tired. So they wanted to get rid of Mr. Nobody. They were getting sick of Fred smashing things around the house. Now, they've been told that you cannot exorcise a poltergeist. You will only anger it. And the vicar already told them, I will not exorcise this house for you. But that's okay. Because Vic, Marie's husband, had been reading on how to exorcise a house. So he got himself some holy water and decided to perform a DIY exorcism. This can only go well.
Considering how it went in our Exorcist episode, I can only imagine.
They all get together one night, and Vic begins performing the exorcism. The Holy Bible, the holy water, reading all the scripture, doing what he needs to do. That's when Jean gets a sinking feeling in her chest that this isn't good. As he pours holy water around on the ground, all of a sudden, all of the walls begin to rain water. All down the sides of the walls, it's just like waterfalls of water dripping down onto the ground. After this, a brass cross flies across the room and sticks to Diane's back like a magnet. Now she begins running and screaming like she can't get this off. Jean grabs her and tries to pull it off, and nothing's moving. It's just like the bookcase. Now, as she's running down the hall and trying to get this thing off, they hear another crash. And as they go to check what that crash is, their framed picture of Jesus was smashed on the ground.
No!
I know, we lost Jesus. As Vic continues the exorcism, bed sheets are being thrown off the bed. Food's being thrown out onto the floor. Banging and knocking is all around the house. And the neighbors corroborate this. Things are shaking, cabinets are shaking, things are going nuts. And eventually he just stops the exorcism and everything calms down. But the whole family's like, I think we did something bad.
It must be so awful to be this people's neighbor.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, shut up.
Well, the thing is that everyone's seeing this and everyone's feeling this, and it's like, it's the ghost. Like, everyone knows it's the ghost. They can't do anything.
Honestly, I feel worse for the next door neighbors than any of these people. These people have been putting up with this for like over a month and just like, what if we ignore it? Oh, what if we go along with it? Meanwhile, next door, they're like, smash, bang, smash. Every night. Horrible.
It's kind of like living above me with my dogs.
Or like living underneath whoever lives above me.
It is now Easter Sunday, so you know things are going to go well. Jean smells that old perfume smell again. She goes downstairs and finds gold paint in the shape of an upside-down cross on every door around the house. Now, they did have gold spray paint, so she's like, maybe this is a prank. So she goes and gets the gold spray paint because her son, Philip, wanted to spray paint his bike gold. And she tries to spray it on the same door as this cross appears. But the thing is that when she would spray it, it would just glob because the door had a glossy texture on top of it. The cross had very professionally done cut lines and a very thick paint to it. So it looked professional is how she said it. And she could not replicate it. They have a feeling that something bad is going to happen. But they just continue on with their life because that's what you do when you have a poltergeist. You just live with the fact that everything's chaos and a mess.
Sure, I guess.
That's what people do. Jean is cleaning the fireplace when all of a sudden things start dropping on her head. She backs up out of the fireplace for a moment and looks down. It's keys. But not just any keys. All of their house keys. They looked around the house and they were missing their house keys. Somehow they got inside the chimney and all flew down off the ring on top of her head. But the weird thing about this is one of the keys was not to their house. One of their keys was like one of those old skeleton keys. Big, black, and iron, but it looked new. They never figured out what that key was for. But in other poltergeist cases, people do have strange things appear that are from a different timeline, appearing like they're perfectly new. So this isn't completely out of the realm of something that isn't experienced. All of this is stuff that other people experience with poltergeists from all over the place.
Where's that key today?
I do not know. Apparently she had the key. Apparently they don't have the key anymore.
Too bad.
Also, I forgot to show you this, but this is the layout of the house. So the bottom floor is on the left, and the top floor is on the right.
Fun fact, in England, they call the first floor the ground floor, and the second floor the first floor.
They only make things more confusing.
I mean, they've been around forever. I'm sure they did it first.
Yeah, and we improved it. There's numbers for a reason. It's confusing. Anyway.
Upstairs is basically just bedrooms.
Yeah.
And then the ground floor is kitchen and living room and
yeah,
not a lot else.
It's all like an open concept. Everything's kind of open to the next room.
Yeah.
So all of this activity could be seen by everyone all around the house because there's not much place to hide. This has been months now. Things are only ramping up. They decide, you know what? We should go to our next door neighbor and see if they've experienced any of this too, so it's not just us. So they do. They go next door. Her name is Mrs. Mountain. And they say, hey, so we've been dealing with stuff. Yes, we know that you've been dealing with stuff because it shakes our house 24/7. We're kind of curious if you've seen anything. And Mrs. Mountain said, it is funny you asked that. She said that she was in her kitchen when she felt something behind her. Now, she thought that it was maybe her nephew sneaking up on her. And she said, quote, "Oh, give over." But when she turned around, she was face to face with a tall, black-robed figure staring at her. There was no discernible face, but there was a low-hanging hood. Apparently this being is at least over 6 feet, and it was just standing right in front of her. She looked at it for a few minutes, with no fear, just curiosity, and then eventually, it disappeared in front of her very eyes.
You having a giggle, mate? You having a giggle, mate?
You having a laugh?
What the bloody bollocks was that?
I'm going to say that about your British accent. Well, it's funny that that's something she saw, because it turns out there's some history to this place in Pontefract. Pontefract was once home to Pontefract Castle, and that's where controversial figure Oliver Cromwell stayed when he ruled that part of England. This was back in the 1600s. And at this time, they had a gallows. The gallows was located right out front of 30 East Drive. And back in the early 1600s, there was a monk who was charged with raping and killing a 14-year-old girl. And he was hung for his crimes. Now let's go back to the modern day. We see a black-robed figure. We have a haunting attached to a 14-year-old girl in the same location as this monk who committed terrible crimes against a 14-year-old girl was killed right in front of the house.
Not a very good monk.
Not a very good monk.
And also, she was 12 at the first haunting.
Yes, because they don't think that it was attached to her then. Remember, it only happened once. They believe that that was Philip. His energy wasn't as strong as hers, though. It only lasted that one day.
Right.
Lied dormant for 2 years. And then, at the same age that Philip was, when Diane turned that age, then he got more interested. And remember, Philip's not a girl. Philip's a boy. So if this attaches to this monk, he wouldn't be as interested in the boy, but he would be interested in the girl. This is where we get the name, the Black Monk of Pontefract. Although the people in the house still called him Fred.
I'm partial to Mr. Nobody myself.
I also like Mr. Nobody, because I like, saying, what was that? It was nobody. Now knowing this dark history, it all ties together. Why is it linked to this age? The figures they've seen, the black shadows, the few black shadows that have been seen, looking like a monk, it all comes together. Some of the other things they experienced, when the family would go to sleep, they would hear loud snoring from outside of all the doors, keeping them awake. The loud banging and knocking got so brutal that cracks were forming in the ceiling of the house. Things were only escalating more and more and more. And by the summer of 1969, things ramped up to their climax. One evening, Diane is downstairs in the kitchen making some coffee when all the lights shut off. It's about dusk, so there's a little bit of light in the house. The rest of the family is in the living room. Jean is trying to find a flashlight when she hears Diane scream louder than she ever had before. When they looked up, she's not in the kitchen. She's by the stairs, being dragged. And they could see her sweater being pulled like this. They saw the silhouette of it hanging up. They're panicking. Diane's being dragged. Philip and Jean run and find Diane being dragged up the stairs by her sweater and her throat because she's beginning to gag. She can't breathe. Philip and Jean rush up the stairs and begin a tug of war with this entity. And after a little while of this tug, it let go. And the family went flying down the staircase. When they shined a light on Diane, they found red finger marks around her neck. And her sweater was stretched out. Now, they're nervous as hell because they know the story of this black monk. Now it's getting violent. Now we have marks. Now we have Diane being targeted. The father, Joe, desperate. He doesn't know what to do.
Let's leave.
That's the thing, is that if a poltergeist is attached to a person, it can follow.
Sure, but they haven't tried that yet.
I know, but also this is a low-income family, and I don't think they had the resources to move. They had just... Think about this. I just recently moved into... When I moved into this house 3 years ago, at first, you don't have much money, because you spent it all on a house. These people have no money, and they spent it all on this duplex. They probably put everything into it. Where would you want to go after you bought a place?
I could think of at least one reason right now.
I understand. There's a poltergeist and it's causing issues and it might be trying to kill your daughter. But in this economy,
mortgage to pay for.
In this economy, a poltergeist?
Stay with someone for a week. See if it follows you. I don't know. Try something. Don't just fucking put up with it for that. What?
So they listen.
No.
They did try now. Now they're trying.
How many months in are we at this point?
9.
Okay, so right, this is right at the 9-month mark.
This is the part where they're like, that's enough, because now it's hurting people.
Now it's gone too far.
Now it's gone too far. Join us back here next week as we get to the Pritchard family's final stand with the Black Monk of Pontefract and the modern day sightings and investigations that still go on today at 30 East Drive. Big shout out to our friends that this podcast is based on true events. When you're done listening here and your Halloween spooky needs are not fulfilled yet, go give them a listen. It'll be well worth your time. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for case photos and updates. If you like what we're doing here, rate and follow. It really goes a long way. And share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best advertisement, and it's free. Also, it's Halloween, where we celebrate the dead, including the dead inside, like James and I. So do your part, and share the show. Happy Halloween, everybody. Words to the wise, those monsters outside your house that keep knocking on your door aren't real. So please don't hurt them. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening.